Hey everybody, it's Jake Mace with JakeMace.com. For the past 4 or 5 years that we've been uploading videos here to our Shaolin Center YouTube channel, this has kind of been a video blog of sorts for me, even though we just started an actual video blog YouTube channel right here. The channel you're watching currently has over 800 videos so far, and we've kind of used it as a journal of sorts of the martial arts, and you guys are getting philosophy and the fighting applications, internal training and external training of Chinese martial arts that interests me at the time, and I'm hoping that if it interests me, it also interests you. And a lot of times I come across different things I want to share with you, and that's what I want to do in this video today. I have a large network of friends on Facebook, and if you guys want to go to my Facebook page, it's facebook.com/JakeMace and then a dot and then Tai Chi. And sometimes I'm friends with people that I don't even know when we became friends. And a lot of times they're martial artists. And one example of this is a guy named Ken Gullette. And Master Ken, or Master Gullette, I'm not sure what his students call him, but either way, he's very active on social media, and I always see his posts on Facebook, which led me to check out some of his YouTube videos on YouTube, and I like watching his stuff. He's one of those Chinese martial art purists that really loves the Chinese martial arts, whether it's external or internal. And lately, he's been putting some things on his website and on Facebook that's really been interesting to me, so I wanted to make this video to share it with you guys, because I think that sometimes I run into roadblocks with my own mentality. And what I mean by that is that I'm only 33 years old, and sometimes things that I'm feeling, or sometimes things that I'm experiencing, I don't have enough experience yet on the planet to really convey it to people or even to myself. And sometimes I look to people that are wiser and that have more experience than I do to learn from and to allow myself to grow as a human being at the same time. And so Ken Gullette here put out this post today that I found on Facebook that looks like it's a blog that he has on his website, and he did a post. Ken is normally posting on Facebook a lot of posts about the martial arts, but lately he's been posting some things on Facebook that are very enlightening and very eye-opening for me at least. And they're about some medical events he's going through in his life right now. This particular post that he's putting online, I think he's posting it from the hospital, and he's kind of blogging about his experience and about his philosophy during his experience. So I wanted to share this with you, and I hope that Master Ken Gullette doesn't mind if I share it. I think he won't mind because he's posted it publicly on his website. And this post is called "No Room for Fear: What you should expect from your own personal philosophy." And then he puts a caution that this post contains some very graphic pictures below. If blood upsets you, don't scroll down. So immediately that made me want to read the post because I had to go and find out what the picture was. And so the post begins by him saying, "I have spent 5 of the past 6 nights in the hospital, including 2 trips in an ambulance. I've had to postpone a podcast and an interview and a few Gong Fu practices. It started when I was sitting in my home office and began coughing up blood. This went on for over half an hour. It stopped for half an hour and then began even harder. Nancy called 911 and the ambulance came. By the time the coughing stopped, long after I arrived in the ER, about 2 pints of blood had come up from my lungs and out of my mouth. At one point, it dawned on me that blood loss could cause me to pass out, and there was a chance I wouldn't wake up. The ER at the hospital couldn't help me, so they sent me by ambulance 90 minutes away to Iowa City and the University of Iowa's Medical Intensive Care Unit. At least the bleeding had stopped. They said half of the people who come in bleeding from the lungs like this usually die. After 2 days of observations and tests, I was released from intensive care on Thursday when they realized they couldn't help me immediately. Both my pulmonary veins on my left lung are blocked, and the blood is having a hard time draining out of the left lung, they believe. The next step may be to take out the lower lobe of the left lung, try to salvage the upper pulmonary vein, and remove the entire lung if that won't work. Either way, my quality of life might improve, and I can continue my life and my Gong Fu practice without the horror of coughing up blood, which has happened occasionally for the past 6 years. A year ago this week, after bleeding for a few days, I ended up in the hospital with pneumonia. By the way, I sometimes receive messages from well-intentioned but delusional folks who believe I would not have these issues if I was doing Qigong properly. One person, who I will not call a moron because I'm feeling centered, said that he watched one of my Xing Yi videos and could tell me how to adjust my movement so that my health would improve. Sometimes you just have to laugh. My condition is actually the result of medical malpractice, not lack of qi, my friends. And besides, how many Qigong masters can you name who have lived past the age of 100? As you ponder that one, here's another question. How do you know that I'm not still alive because my qi is so powerful? You know it is possible that I have done Qigong and my Pi Chuan, which is the splitting fist, and related to the lungs. You know it is possible that I have done Qigong and my Pi Chuan related to the lungs so well I have survived something that would kill an ordinary man. At least it is possible if you believe superstitious pseudoscience. And if you do, you are invited to not leave a comment on this blog. So I went home from the intensive care unit on Thursday. I knew that coughing up 2 pints of blood meant pneumonia was a possibility, and sure enough, by Friday evening, I took a shower and I couldn't breathe. So Nancy called 911 and an ambulance took me back to the hospital where I was pumped with antibiotics and oxygen and was coughing up tar balls left over from the bleeding. I was struggling to maintain oxygen levels above 90%. Below 90% can cause organ damage. I've done a lot of online communication with friends and family because it has been difficult to speak without coughing. But on Saturday, I was talking to a couple of my best friends on the phone. I've known them both since I was a child, and they met and married in their 20s. The woman said, "Kenny, we are all scared for you, and we know you must be scared." Her comment surprised me. She is wonderful, kind and funny, and very religious, a conservative Christian who I first met when we attended the same church, the pastor of which is a creationist. We never discuss religion, and that's fine, but I suddenly realized that I needed to make a point. "You know," I replied, "I certainly am in no hurry to leave, but to be really honest with you, I'm not scared of anything. I feel determination and an intense desire to stay with Nancy and continue enjoying life with my children, grandchildren, and friends, but there really is nothing to be scared of." It was a message that she needed to hear, and perhaps you do too. If your personal philosophy or your religious belief system has not freed you from the fear of death, it is just my opinion that you are dealing with a bad belief system. When I was growing up, I was told that because I was a Christian, I wouldn't be afraid to die. I would live forever, and that knowledge would give me peace and comfort. It was a message drilled into me from the day I was born. Oh yeah, by the way, if I didn't believe, I would be tortured forever and ever. Unlike some of my family and friends, I decided by my early 20s that there is as much peace and love in that message as there is in a wife-beater telling his bloody spouse that he loves her, but she just needs to be obedient. Thanks to my study of philosophical Taoism and Zen Buddhism, and as I developed critical thinking skills that I wasn't taught as I was growing up, my philosophy of life and death changed and evolved. It became very clear. I spent an eternity before I existed, and I will spend another eternity after I exist. I had no complaints when I arrived, and I will have no complaints after I leave. It was at total peace before, and it will be at total peace afterwards. Anything else is just a bit silly, don't you think? It would be nice to spend eternity with Nancy, although it's hard enough spending one lifetime with a girl, not to mention eternity. But I've known her long enough to understand that she is probably going to hell anyways. I have to admit, I'm not the best influence. And so I'm focusing on getting back to normal, returning to practice. I'm hoping by the end of the week. In fact, I might do some silk reeling exercises in my room when I finish this post. And by yesterday, they took me off oxygen. I took such a dramatic turn for the better that the nurse came in last night, and after not seeing me since 7 in the morning, her jaw dropped because I was sitting in the chair breathing room air. She couldn't believe it. They consider me their easiest patient. I keep things light-hearted. I think you must live your philosophy. You must live what you believe. My philosophy enables me to laugh, joke with doctors and nurses, love, be determined, and adopt the eye of the tiger. I am not going down easy, and I still plan to attend a tournament this October and perform a Xing Yi or Tai Chi form in competition. My major goal for my website this spring is to reshoot all of my Lao Jia Ilu instruction and also turn it into a DVD. I have been close to death, and it's pretty clear that when the time comes, I will probably greet it with a smile and hopefully with an I love you to my wife and family. But that time is not going to come very quickly if I have anything to do with it. I have no room for fear, and it is not something that my philosophy offers. There are no threats involved in life or death. Good things happen and bad things happen. Get used to it, because the older you get, you cannot avoid the bad things. They are part of life. Studying the martial arts, any style, should help you find inner peace. And so should your religion or philosophy. Fear of dying is not something a true warrior or philosopher should have, or a true Christian or a Hindu or anyone. And so the intelligent thinker is not afraid to do a philosophical audit from time to time. Is my belief system working for me? Why not? You just might find there was another way of thinking that will work. I did, and I know several others who did. Some Christians are not afraid, so their beliefs are working for them. Often they are more moderate in their beliefs about concepts such as eternal punishment. I also know some who never questioned what they were taught as children and still live with threats and fear. One person whose daughter got cancer told me she thought she might go crazy. I wondered, where is the comfort in your belief system? That is no way to live. Yesterday, a young physician's assistant for my pulmonologist checked in on me. She asked if I had any questions. I said, yes, I do have one question. When I leave here, will I be able to play the piano? I asked. She said, yes, you should be able to do that. That's strange, I laughed. I couldn't play the piano when I got here. Nancy hit me, but she laughed anyways. The physician's assistant had never heard that joke before. It took her a minute, but she laughed too. You see, no room for fear, but there's always room for humor. I got a little teary-eyed when Nancy left for the evening, but they were not tears that came out of fear. There is always room for love. Every moment is precious, don't waste it in fear. And now I will stand in my hospital room and do some slow silk reeling exercises, looking for the perfection that we all seek and often remains just out of our grasp. So I thought that was a great post. And I want to put Ken Gullette's YouTube channel here on the screen right now. So if you guys can click on it and check out his videos, and hopefully you guys will be as courageous, brave, and strong as Ken Gullette, a lifetime martial artist and true warrior, is. And I will post a link to the blog below the video so you guys can check it out. And now I'm gonna go try to compose myself, do a few breaths, and go and practice my Gong Fu so that I can try to harness some inner power and send it Ken Gullette's way. Good luck, Ken. I'll see you soon.
You